order of operations. First thing to do is to simplify inside of the parentheses. Then you want to calculate exponents from left to right. It's very important to do this step from left to right. You want to multiply and divide numbers and then add and subtract. So first example, we have to evaluate 25 divided by 5 times 4 plus 2 to the third power. So the first thing is to calculate exponents. If you don't remember, 2 to the third is 2 times 2 times 2, which is 2 times 2 is 4 times 2. 4 times 2, we have 8. And we want to keep everything else as is. We have division and multiplication. We want to do this from left to right. So first thing is to calculate 25 divided by 5. 25 divided by 5 is 5. Everything else will stay the same. Then we want to multiply this. We have 5 times 4, 20, plus 8. And 28 will be our answer. In the second example, we have to evaluate negative 3 to the third minus 2 to the fifth. Negative 3 to the third is negative 3, negative 3, negative 3 times itself 3 times, minus 2 to the fifth is 5 factors of 2. Then I'm just going to multiply from left to right. So we have negative times negative, positive 9 times negative 3 minus 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Positive times negative, we get negative 27 minus negative 2 times 2, 4 times 2 times 2 times 2. Negative 27 minus 4 times 2, 8 times 2 times 2. Negative 27 minus 8 times 2, 16 times 2. Negative 27 minus 16 times 2, 32. Same sign, we look for sum of 32 and 27. The sum will be negative. 7 plus 2, 9. 2 plus 3, 5. So negative 59 is our answer. Evaluate 2 times 4 minus 5 to the third plus 6 divided by 3 plus negative 8 plus 5 to the second power. So the very first thing to do is to simplify inside of the parentheses. And we have numbers that we can combine inside of each of these parentheses. So we have 2 times 4 minus 5, negative 1, plus 6 divided by 3, plus negative 8 plus 5, different signs. We're going to look for difference. We have more negatives, so the difference will be negative. 8 minus 5, we have 3. On the next step, we want to evaluate exponents. So I'm going to take negative 1, raise it to the third power, and negative 3, raise it to the second power. So negative 1 to the third is negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 1, positive 1 times negative 1. Positive times negative gives us negative 1. So we have negative 1. And negative 3 to the second power is negative 3 times negative 3. Negative times negative, positive. 3 times 3, 9. So this exponent becomes positive 9. We keep everything else as is. Then we multiply and divide from left to right. So positive 2 times negative 1. Negative 2 plus 6 divided by 3. Positive times positive, positive. 9. Then we have negative 2 plus 6 divided by 3, 2 plus 9. 2 and negative 2 are additive inverses, so positive 9 is our answer. In example number 4, we have to evaluate 6 minus negative 12 plus 8 to the second power plus 8 divided by 4. So first thing to do is to simplify inside of the parentheses. And we have negative 12 plus 8, different signs. We calculate difference and we have more negatives. And difference between 12 and 8 is 4, so negative 4. Keep everything else as is. The next step to do is to raise the exponents. So negative 4 to the second power is negative 4 times negative 4. Negative 4 times negative 4 gives us positive 16. And we want to keep everything else as is. Let's simplify signs. We have 6, negative times positive, negative 16, plus 8 divided by 4. We have division here, so 8 divided by 4 is 2. We keep everything else as is, so it's positive 2. This 6 is positive, and the next number is negative, so we're looking for difference. We have more negatives, and difference between 6 and 16 is 10, so negative 10 plus 2. Again, different signs, we look for difference, and we have more negatives once again, so negative. Difference between 10 and 2, 8. So negative 8 is our answer. Evaluate negative 4 out of 5 times a half minus 3 out of 2 to the second power. So the first thing, as always, is to evaluate exponents, or you can just rewrite exponents as repeated multiplication like I'm doing right now. So 3 halves to the second power, I'm just going to write it as 3 out of 2 times 3 out of 2 and keep everything else as is. Multiplying fractions, we want to multiply left to right. Now we have 4 and 2. Both of these can be divided by 2. So negative 4 divided by 2 gives us negative 2 out of 5 times 1 over 1 minus 3 out of 2 times 3 out of 2. Negative 2 times 1, negative 2. 5 times 1, 5. Minus 3 times 3, 9. 2 times 2, 4. Now we need to combine these fractions, and in order to combine fractions we need least common denominator of 5 and 4 will be 20. To get 20 in this fraction, we need to multiply 5 by 4. Whatever you do into denominator, same goes in numerator. In this fraction, we need to multiply 4 by 5. Whatever goes in denominator goes in numerator. So now we have negative 2 times 4, negative 8 out of 20, minus 9 times 5, 45 out of 20. Now we want to bring everything over common denominator of 20. So negative 8, negative 45, still 20. Same sign, we're going to look for sum, and it will be negative. 45 plus 8 will give us 53. Evaluate negative 1 out of 9 times negative 18 out of 5 plus negative a half divided by 3 out of 4. Let's simplify signs first. Negative times negative, we get positive. 1 out of 9 times 18 out of 5. Positive times negative, we get negative. 1 out of 2. Let's change this division into multiplication, and we want to flip the second fraction, so we get 4 out of 3. The next step is to multiply fractions, but we know that 9 can be divided by 9 and 18 can be divided by 9. So the first fraction becomes 1 out of 1 times 18 divided by 9, 2 out of 5 minus 1 out of 2 times 4 out of 3. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 5 is 5. Minus 1 times 4 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6. Least common denominator of 5 and 6 is 30. So we need to multiply 5 times 6 to get a 30. Whatever we do to denominator, same to numerator. And we need to multiply 6 by 5 to get a 30. Whatever you do to denominator, same goes into numerator. So we have 12 out of 30 minus 20 out of 30. Bring everything over same denominator, 30. 12 minus 20. Different signs, we're going to look for difference, and we have more negatives. So difference will be negative out of 30. 20 minus 12 is 8. So we have negative 8 out of 30. 8 and 30 are both even, so we can reduce by 2. Now we have negative 4 out of 15. And that's our answer. That's all.